In 1996, Chris Carter followed up The X-Files with the darker, arguably more sophisticated series, Millennium. Fans yearning for Frank Black's heroic return can revisit past nightmares and see glimpses of a hopeful future in the new feature-length documentary, Millennium After the Millennium. Villain Media affirms the documentary establishes how relevant the former Fox series still is to society. UK Film Review says Jason D. Morse creates an enthralling documentary. Screen Critics calls it an absolute must-see, featuring new interviews from Lance Henriksen, Chris Carter, Frank Spotnitz, and many more. Millennium After the Millennium is available now at thetimeisnowmm.com. This is who we are.
Which isn't quite unlike George Romero's Dawn of the Dead, but...
Or Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead.
Whether you'll work at Asda.
A little different, but yeah.
Well, put trolleys in the hands.
But we're gonna go through a little lesser known noir today. But before we do that, and we also have a special addition to today's show, which we haven't done before. This will be a first time for us. A couple first times, actually. We have a listener suggestion for a film. And later on in the episode, we're going to have an interview from a gentleman that we spoke to a few weeks ago, named Tom Walker, who's a filmmaker and has shot a few noir short films and a few music videos that have a sort of noirish style. We're going to be talking to him later on, so stick around after we discuss today's film. Before we get into that, though, we're going to talk about our drink for the week. Oh, and by the way, before we even do that, we apologize for last week. We didn't release an episode, and we have a good reason for it. We had a little movie premiere that was taking place, so we were tied up for that, and you guys can check it out on YouTube if you like. It's called The Curious Case of the Murder That Wasn't, where we did this crazy little thing, and we combined some classic 70s and 80s sleuths into one film, even further back than that, 1800s. But we took Sherlock Holmes, Columbo, Jessica Fletcher from Murder, She Wrote, and Dr. Mark Sloan from Diagnosis Murder, and we slammed them into a movie about the death of Agatha Christie.
Because that's how we roll.
Right. And the movie was backed by Kickstarter, and we shot it back in October, and we just released it on the 1st. And the premiere went pretty well, but that's why we ended up not having an episode last Wednesday. We were dealing with all the ins and outs of that. And if you guys have time, go check it out. The Curious Case of the Murder That Wasn't. But now let's get into our drink of the week. This one's got an interesting name. It's a fairly long name. And I feel like maybe I should have saved this one for a more doom and gloom sort of noir, but this one is called The Three Wise Men versus the Four Horsemen.
Wow.
Right.
That is apocalyptic.
It is. I love it. And what a mouthful to ask a bartender for, right?
I know, yeah. Can you imagine if you were drunk? The Three Wise Men.
That might be where the name came from. Who knows? It's pretty simple drink here, too. It's filled with shots.
Wow.
Half shots. All right, the Three Wise Men versus the Four Horsemen is a half ounce of Scotch whiskey, a half ounce of Tennessee whiskey, and a half ounce of bourbon. And what you do is you prepare a glass with ice, add the 3 whiskeys to 1 glass.
Wow.
Stir and serve. For the Four Horsemen, add a half ounce of Irish whiskey. So I guess there's 2 different combinations. You do the straight half shots, or you can turn it into the Three Wise Men versus the Four Horsemen with the half ounce of Irish whiskey, which I'd probably do. And that might work pretty well. It's going to be a strong drink.
I was going to say, that's like one sip floor.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
Scotch is a little lighter, and bourbon's a little lighter too, and then you got the whiskey in there, and then the Irish whiskey as well. So it's a pretty steep drink there. It says it's a cool, refreshing, and intoxicating.
Intoxicating, no kidding.
So yeah, seems like a pretty nice drink.
It's like playing Russian roulette with a shot glass.
Right? And I've got everything for this, so I'm going to be having that today. Carly's going to have a half ounce of gin with a half ounce of gin and a half ounce of gin and a
dash of lemonade.
For the
I'm
Four
not a monster.
Horsemen, she's going to put in a half ounce of probably Bud Light.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you about when I created Lagersade?
No. What is this?
Do you have a Lucasade over there?
I have no idea what that is.
It's like an energy drink.
No, We have like
Okay.
Red Bull and Monster and stuff like that.
Well, I did it with Red Bull as well, but it didn't sound as good. Like Bullzager isn't as good as
Bullzager.
Lagersade. Yeah, it's not as good as Lagersade. That's like
Got
boom. And it's basically a pint of beer, and then you chug a third of it, and then you put Lucasade in it, and it sends you off your box.
Interesting.
Yeah, because you have like the energy hit that's like, I want to jump around and bounce off the walls. But then you also get the kick of the lager that's like, oh, I'm starting to feel dizzy. Woo!
Yeah, I never really got into the whole mixing the energy drink with the alcohol thing. It was a pretty big craze out here too. Particularly with like Red Bull. I think they would do like, I don't know, mixed Red Bull and whiskey or something. I'm not sure what it was, but I never did it. It was, I'm not a up and down kind of person, but that seems just mixing the opposite spectrums, and I guess that's why people do it.
I only did it because I was very tired.
Yeah.
Because we had a really big party and then a beer delivery at like 5 o'clock, and I was very, very tired.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people like it. I don't know, for some reason, to me, it just doesn't sound like a good time.
It was not a good time the next day. No.
Exactly.
Oh, no.
Exactly. You're going to crash from the alcohol and the sugar and caffeine.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So there you have it, guys. That is the Three Wise Men versus the Four Horsemen. Love it.
Brick, did you hand me down at the DA's office?
Did you drag me all the way down here to tell me that? I've got to get back to my party.
You're coming back to the DA's office with me and tell him you lied. You're going to tell him you weren't with that ape, but with me that night.
What are you drinking, lady?
Nothing for me, thanks. But you better have a shot ready for the boyfriend here. He's gonna get a shock.
Where are you heading in?
You poor dumb cop. Why do you think I got him to the DA's office ahead of you?
So you got yourself a new boyfriend.
He's more my type. You can go back to your Martha now. I'm leaving.
You're coming down to headquarters with me right now.
Listen, you fool. You can get me there, but who'll believe you? You can't do a thing about it, Tony. Your hands are tied. In just about 10 hours, it'll all be over. Who are you going to tell it to? The Marines?
Because I know you loved this film, why don't you give us your, in a nutshell, famous synopsis?
Okay. This is in a ridiculously short nutshell.
Oh, I thought your last one was...
Like, it's very plain and simple and to the point.
All right.
Reasons not to have an affair.
Oh, excellent.
That is, in a nutshell, reasons not to have an affair. If you're thinking about it, people in quarantine, you're seeing some pictures, don't go there. Don't do it.
That's a great that's a great synopsis. Very true.
Yep.
This is an
Say
excellent reason
no.
to not step outside.
Oh yeah, say no. Just say no. Don't get in the car, kids. Don't
Right.
do it.
Yeah, and he had seemed like he had a very decent life here. This guy was just a masochist or whatnot, and I'm not really sure what his deal was, but I did enjoy the film quite a bit though.
I really liked it too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised that it's considered a B movie and whatnot, and but I thought it was pretty well acted and it had a good setup, good drama to it. I was really, really surprised it was so short.
Yeah.
I think it was only 65 minutes or something. It wasn't even like, it was barely over an hour.
It barely pushed an hour, and that was with the ridiculous ending and the credits, I think.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, but it's good. I thought it was entertaining and it was fun. Sweating it the whole time if this guy's going to get caught, and is he going to, tell on himself, like how's this going to play out, kind of thing. It was pretty fun to watch and see what he was going to do next, because I think this is one of those kind of movies where everybody's sort of thinking, well, this is what I would do.
Yeah.
But I don't know that he was thinking the right way the whole time.
No.
Yeah.
He's another scoundrel.
Yeah, I mean, he is. It's weird too, and I love characters like that who are actually. Somebody was just posting about this online earlier today, talking about the horror film Happy Death Day, whatever it's called, and how good the character of Tree is in the movie. And I disagree, because I just think she's they were talking about how she's a likable character, and why aren't there more horror films that make likable characters? And I was thinking, she's an extremely unlikable character to me. Like, the whole point of that they created her character that way was in order to have her cheesy story arc where she somehow becomes a better character by the end of the movie. And I just don't feel like I feel like there's a better way. I feel like you can have a good person do really bad things and learn from that. They don't have to be a bad person, and become a good person, because it doesn't
really happen very often,
right.
Does it really?
Yeah, exactly. It's not very realistic in terms of like real people. Some people are assholes, I get it. Some people are really good people, but everybody at some point, no matter how good they are or how bad they are, they do something that's out of character that sort of changes who they are. And I'd rather see that. I'd rather, like, this man here, he doesn't seem like he's a bad person. He made a really poor choice. And he has a sense of duty. He has, he's a cop. And you become a cop for a reason. It doesn't mean that you're a perfect person. But he certainly wasn't unlikable, and he certainly wasn't a bad guy. He did a really bad thing, and he saw somebody else do something really bad, and that sent him on this downward spiral.
I think that made him realize what he was doing wrong, because he was like, oh crap,
yeah,
this is my whole purpose and I can't stop it because I've done this horrible thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think that's what kept the movie so interesting to me, is wondering how far down that rabbit hole he's going to go, and when he's going to finally, tell everyone else, what really happened. And I really loved the whole setup of, it's a cautionary tale, because they started out with the other cops in the precinct. What were they, playing poker or something like that? I can't remember what they were doing.
Yeah, it's a flashback, isn't it, from a newsroom? And they're all like, oh well, this is what happened to so and so. Yeah,
it's a very cautionary tale of, like, be careful, know who you are, kind of thing, and don't make these same sort of mistakes, kind of thing. And I thought that was very interesting. And I loved the fact, because you can totally, by the end of the movie, which I didn't really find cheesy as I don't know, what did you call it? Did you call it cheesy ending?
Bloody hated. I called it crap, I think.
Oh, okay.
Bloody hated the ending. That last scene completely just spoiled it. I thought, bloody
And you're talking
hell.
about when he comes into the precinct or whatever? Or
when he's at the bloody, serves him a drink or something at the bar, or gives him a newspaper or whatever it is, and he's here he is. And then his son ends up being upstairs.
Yeah.
Didn't like that.
Okay, yeah. I thought you were talking about where he comes in and talks to the other person, and the guy realizes, oh, you're the guy we've been talking about all night.
Yeah, that's the bit I'm on about.
Oh, okay.
Remember, because the guy that was asleep in the corner finally, has an epiphany, goes downstairs, and then comes face to face with the guy they've been talking about.
Okay.
But then actually, at the same time, his son was upstairs in the back office all along.
Yeah, see, I didn't mind that. I thought that was pretty...
I like that bit. I just didn't like the bit downstairs. Where
okay.
like, bye.
Yeah, I could do without that part. That was, but I do like the whole thing of him coming back and us and the realization of, this is who we're talking about, kind of thing, because it kind of showed he's a much, much different person now. And I liked that. I liked to be able to see the aftermath of it all, and it being, there's a bunch of time that's been passed and he's become this cautionary tale. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you get stabbed in the back with a toothpick, isn't it?
Well, I guess so. I mean, there's a lot of things, but yeah, I mean, he obviously, learned, and, it's not a mistake he's going to make again.
Well, nope, definitely not.
But he seemed happy, and that was the thing that I liked about it. He, regardless of what happened, he genuinely seemed like it was for the better. Like whatever happened to him was for the better. He seemed like he was a happy person now, as before.
And he had that good relationship with his son as well. Still, so it hadn't impacted that. So that was good.
Right. And it seemed like there was a reason why he stepped out on the marriage or did what he did, and all this stuff happened. He either wasn't happy or couldn't find happiness in some way. And in the end, or whatever, he became a different person, and found, I guess, happiness, so to speak, or a way to deal with it, or whatever it might be. So yeah, I mean, overall, I thought it was a really good movie, and I was surprised that it was just considered a B movie, because I didn't see any sort of like terribly like campy cheesiness to it. It seemed like a pretty well thought out idea and story, which again, doing some research on it, got me even more interested in it, because I discovered that it was based on a radio show that ran from 1934 to 1948, and this particular movie was based on one of the stories on the radio show. And apparently there were supposed to be a whole series of films based on the radio show. Unfortunately, this was the only one that was made, and I'm not sure why. There wasn't a whole lot of information on it. Maybe it didn't do well in the theaters, or I'm not sure why. But they did end up doing a television show as well, which was made in 1954, which is about 10 years after the movie. So the movie was made while the radio show was still popular and still going. And then the TV show, which only had one season, was made about 10 years after the radio show ended.
See, I looked for that to try and find it, because I thought it was so fascinating that it was a series of stories.
Right, yeah.
I thought it was a really great setup to have them in the newsroom talking about different coverage and stuff like that. And I couldn't find it. I was very disappointed. Yeah,
and I really feel like even today's standard, especially as a television series, that it would probably be a pretty good idea for a not only an anthology type series, where each season maybe could be, instead of each episode being standalone, I think by today's TV standards, they would probably do a season arc with one story, and then the next season would be a different story kind of thing. And I think that would probably do pretty well. Seems like a pretty good idea. It kind of reminds me a bit of Kolchak the Night Stalker. If each one of those individual stories ended up being a season arc, would have been, I think, a good idea. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was pretty well done for what it was, and it was just a little short. I wish it could have been longer.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen a bit more interaction with him and the wife. Mm-hmm. Because all you ever get is like, you get his actions through other people. Like, tell me wife I'm working. Yeah, right, all right then. There goes a very busy man. Yeah, we know what he's on about. And then
I think if they had done that, though, then we might have saw him in less of a positive way.
Possibly, yeah. Because
I think we know what he's been doing, and I think that would have affected his likability if we had seen more of his wife, especially if his wife is super likable, and it's like, how could you do this to this person? I think that would have hurt. I agree with you. I would have liked to have seen her more in it, but I think it would have hurt his character as far as us liking him and, his issues that he's dealing with overall. I could be wrong, but it depends on how they would have done it.
No, I think you're right with that, because when Tony's being nice to his wife, the only compliment he has is, I think he says something like, "It's been pretty rough on your monkey face. It's been pretty rough on your monkey face." And I thought, is that you being complimentary? I mean,
Right.
and then she says something like, "Oh, I don't know." She says something, and he immediately starts going, "Oh well, whatever." Oh, okay then.
Right.
So she didn't appreciate you calling her a monkey face, and
Yeah,
now you're
yeah.
getting angry with her. So
Yeah, I wonder if that was like a common term back then, what that meant. It's funny.
it was very strange. I thought, monkey face? Is that sweet? I don't.
Yeah, we don't know if that was a good thing or not. I'm going to take it as like maybe a
Like a little
sentimental-
nickname?
Yeah, maybe.
Like,
Something a
does
little
she blow
sentimental.
raspberries and like tug on her ears at him or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
I was very confused by that. I thought, okay.
Yeah.
And then he immediately phones up his mistress and is like, "Hi, hey babe, how's it going?"
Yeah. See, yeah.
Ain't no
so
monkey face there.
Yeah. If she wasn't at more, I think it would have taken a turn for the worse.
Yeah, because she is very sweet. She's just there
Yeah.
like, "Do you want some food? Do you want some dinner?
Yeah, we
Please
would
stay
have
with
felt
me."
we already felt bad for her. You know, I think we would have felt even worse and like hated him. And then I'd be like, yeah, get caught.
Yeah, I hope you do. I hope they think you murdered them.
Right. Which, I mean, I was hoping he's going to get caught anyways, just because he did something wrong. But at the same time, you don't want him to get in trouble, you know. But I definitely think that we would have been fine with it had he went to jail or something like that. You know, if she had been in it more and made him a worse character.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I've seen any of these actors before. William Gargan is the lead. Janice Carter and Jeff Donnell. I don't know that I recalled seeing them in anything else. So it was kind of fresh faces to me, which was nice. How did you feel about the mistress lady? Because I didn't particularly care for her.
Oh no, she was horrid.
Yeah.
But then is that just because she was such a good actress that her character is just horrible? She's got no redeeming qualities about her whatsoever.
Yeah, probably. You know, and it wasn't.
So she probably just did an awesome job because she was horrible.
Yeah, and you know, they didn't let on like right away how bad she was. So I didn't like her right off the bat though. But as it progressed and she becomes more of a terrible person, you find out how she's like really like a triple crosser kind of thing.
Yeah, and then when she's in the bar, like, "Oh, get my boyfriend a shot. He's married,
Yeah.
love. You ought to keep that on the lowdown."
Right.
That's the whole reason why you're in a secret car in a field.
Right.
And she's like, "Oh, get my boyfriend a shot. The police officer.
Yeah.
I've got a new boyfriend now."
Yeah. So I thought they did a great job characterizing her, you know, making her bad, and you wonder like what he sees in her kind of thing. Is it just a pretty face sort of thing, or is there more to it? Which I'm kind of happy they don't really go into too much. You know, it's more about the murder and what he's dealing with and whether to talk about it or not talk about it. Can he catch the bad guy kind of thing? But it was intriguing to me. It was intriguing. And I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I would probably watch this one again just for the fun of it. I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah, I did. And you know what? The CSI guy, he needs a special mention.
Oh, yeah.
He was fantastic. Every single TV series that has a grumpy medical examiner, right, has watched this film and gone, "That's our guy."
Right. It reminds me of Ducky from NCIS a bit. I don't know if you watched that.
He reminds me of every medical examiner from CSI that's like, "I don't want to be it. I couldn't give a shit. They died from a bullet to the head," and then makes a funny joke.
Right.
I thought that guy was great. We needed more of him. I wish there was more bodies so we could have got him back.
Could do a whole series just with him, huh?
Just him on his own in the newsroom, telling an interview or something. Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. Now, it's been 2 weeks since I watched this. Was that the same guy that would show up and basically say, "Hey, I know you did something"?
No.
Okay, that's a different guy,
so
right?
it's been like 2 weeks since I watched it as well.
Okay.
But I think because I remember really liking like his part. I couldn't figure out if it was his partner or whether he was just like his best friend at work.
Yeah, it felt like it was
But he had a slightly strange accent and he was always trying to keep up with him, but he kind of knew he'd been tailing him and he knew what he'd been doing and he was just jumped in with a little bit of advice. And
yeah,
I thought he was great.
Yeah, I really liked him as well. And I thought it was well played of the screenwriters to inject him in there because it added a little tension, but not too much.
Yes, because he wasn't too much. He wasn't too intrusive and he wasn't trying to dish out, I can solve your problems, and they weren't having long conversations about it. It was just very real. That if you were in that situation and somebody knew, they would just every now and again go, "Listen, dude, what are you doing?"
Yeah, and it was obvious that he cared about him to some extent, like whether, I don't know, if it was what their history or backstory is, and I think that's maybe a part where the movie could have extended its runtime, giving a little history between them two. But I really enjoyed that because it wasn't like he was trying to catch him. No. He was really trying to sort of like, I wouldn't even necessarily say he was trying to help him in a way, but it was more like, I kind of noticed this, if you might want to,
yeah, you might want to
this.
stop going off with that crazy woman and some murders because your wife's actually quite nice.
Yeah, it's almost like he probably would have went ahead and let him hang himself. But he also
would have kept his secret.
Yeah, he also would have kept his secret and wouldn't have wouldn't have gone against a fellow cop sort of thing. It was one of those situations where because we didn't have any backstory between those two, really, it's like, is he just being a good, what do you call him, boy in blue or, whatever how they act like a family kind of thing and they don't rat on each other sort of thing. That's like what I got from him. Because it wasn't overtly sympathetic. He wasn't overtly helpful.
But then he wasn't judgmental either.
Exactly. Yeah.
At all. I think it helped because he was a very older character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably.
So
he's probably done plenty of wrong things himself.
Yeah. It was almost like I've been there, done that. You don't want to do that.
Yeah. So I thought he was a great addition to the story. I thought that was a good idea. So hey, Carly, let's take a break real quick and talk to our listeners about our sponsors. Hey Noir fans, Jason here from Speakeasy Noircast. So when Carly and I started looking for solutions for our podcast, we discovered there were way too many options available. We almost gave up looking for the right fit and came close to forking over a bunch of money for one size fits all type of solution. Then I stumbled upon Anchor FM. Not only is this amazing service free, but we can record and edit our podcast directly from Anchor FM or even on our phone when we're on the go. That alone saves us a ton of money and time. But there are several other major benefits to using Anchor FM that makes it the perfect fit for us. Anchor has a built-in solution for distributing our podcast to all the major outlets, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and just about anything else you can think of. You no longer have to submit your RSS feed to every single service in existence just to get your episode to your fans. And talking about money again, like I said, Anchor is absolutely free. And Anchor FM will even help you to make some cold hard cash right from the very beginning. Anchor FM has a unique advertising platform that doesn't require a minimum listenership. So right out the gate, you can start making some money. So let's put it in perspective. Anchor FM is free, everything you need to make a podcast in one place, instant distribution, and they'll help you make some money right from the start. So if you've been struggling to find the perfect platform for your podcast, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. After you finish this episode, of course. All right, guys, we're back and we're going to keep talking about this film. The original TV show, they would let listeners write in and suggest story ideas, which I thought was pretty interesting because you don't really have anything in today's sort of media that allows you to really do that on a popular culture level, and I mean, obviously this show is popular. It ran for over 10 years. And so this particular episode was based on a story called Inside Story by Scott Littleton. And then the screenplay was eventually written by Hal Smith. And I would be curious to figure out how they decided to do this particular story. I mean, if the show itself ran for 10 years, and this particular movie was made before the series saw its end, like 2-3 years before it ended. I wonder how they decided on this particular. Was it a super popular episode, or, you know, I mean, I wonder how that came about. There's so much information I can't find on this movie that I wish that there was. I don't know. Somebody should write a book about it.
So if anybody wants to in quarantine,
right? Joe Madry, if you're listening, write a book about Night Editor. I know nobody will buy it, but because nobody's heard of it.
I will.
But it would be fun.
And you will. That's 2 sales.
I definitely would. Yeah.
There we go. That's 2 sales. I'll make Street buy it.
I don't know if that's going to put food on his table, but you know.
I don't know if it's like £100 a book.
Yeah. So we don't have a whole lot of time left because we're gonna have to get into our interview with Tom. So I think maybe we should move on to giving this movie a rating.
Oh, okay. You go first.
Okay. So there wasn't a whole lot in this film that I found new or that I hadn't seen before. But again, I don't know if at the time this sort of dynamic is fresh and new or whatnot.
This could have been the blueprint.
Yeah, it could have been, and I don't know that. I wish I was around back then to like really know, or need to study my film history a little more. But yeah, which we know that's the real answer. until Guy Pearce shows up with his time machine.
Please do. That's another thing. Put that on the list with Joe writing a book. Guy Pearce, get your time machine out.
But I really enjoyed it. I thought the actors were great. I thought it was well directed for what it was. My only real negative, I think, is like you said, it would be nice if the wife was in it more. But again, that's sort of a double-edged sword, and I wish it was a little longer. But I'm going to give it a solid 8 because I just thought it was fun, and I would definitely watch it again.
Interesting.
So, what are you're changing your numbers in your head now, aren't you?
No, because I pre-wrote it down. This is why we need to film things, because I pre-wrote this down. Okay, and I'm also giving it an 8 out of 10.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Is this the first time we've agreed on a number for a movie?
Maybe.
I think it might be. Maybe there's one other. I can't remember. Oh, maybe 39 Steps. Do we both give that a 10?
Possibly.
Maybe Conflict. Maybe there's a couple we've totally agreed on. But this is good. We haven't agreed in a while, I believe.
No, we have not.
Yeah. Particularly Narrow Margin, which I... Anyway.
There we go. Again. Bloody hell, we don't need Guy Pearce for that time machine, because you've apparently got one.
I hold grudges, that's all.
I know. Oh, you have to tell the listeners your awesome news as well. Afterwards.
What's that?
About getting your little certificate of authentication.
Oh, yeah. So
you're
folks at home.
officially authenticated.
Yeah, folks at home. So last time you guys discovered that Carly did something amazing and made my wife and I a Lady and Lord of Glen Cove. And we just got the certificates, which we are going to hang on the wall and proudly display as we're now, I don't know, are we royalty?
I feel like if we all start saying it, then, you know,
it makes it true.
It's going to happen.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like Candyman or something, you know, you say it enough times, it makes it real.
We just appear.
Right.
In Highland outfits. Hello.
Right. So that's a thing. That's awesome. I think it's really cool. Yep. So those are going to be framed. I'll probably maybe eventually send you a picture of those hanging on the wall. But thank you again, Carly. That was pretty awesome.
It's all right. We can combine patches now and have like a super bench.
Yes.
Oh, we could get a water fountain.
Yeah, like I said, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to recreate the little end shot from Friends. There'll only be 4 of us. So all right, so we agreed 8 gens out of 10. Yeah. So that's good.
Yeah, I would have given it 9 actually, but the ending I was really disappointed by, just that last bloody scene.
Last little bit, yeah.
Yeah, otherwise it would have been 9.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
that's all right. Fair enough. Yeah. Solid movie, though. You guys should check it out if you can. It's The Night Editor, 1946 film, directed by Henry Levin. And now what we're going to do is we're going to get into an interview with a gentleman named Tom Walker, who this is our first interview that we have done, and there might be more. We've talked about it. It's one of those things where it depends on everybody's schedule and time, so this won't be a regular thing, but it'll occasionally pop up. Maybe on these shorter episodes. But Tom Walker has directed a few short films, which we'll put links to in the episode description. So you can check those out. And he's done a few music videos that are noir related. And he's got a new one that's just come out. And I believe his company is called Medusa Video. And you can find him on Instagram at medusa.video95. I think is his primary haunt. But again, we'll post all the links in the video description so you guys can check it out. And without further ado...
But further ado, you should explain to the listeners what a mess you made of trying to speak to him in the first place.
Why do we always have to go there?
Well, I'm just...
I'm not, I don't understand why everybody believes I'm some technical wizard. I don't get it. Like, Skype is difficult enough for me, but then to try to do Facebook audio
when all we heard was like a play park. Me and Tom were both on the phone going, is that you that's in a play park? No, I thought you were in a play park. No, turns out it is Jason Morris that was in a play park and none of us knew.
I was not in a park for whatever reason. I was in the middle of researching Tom's work, and YouTube was up in one of my browsers. And once you finish a video on YouTube, it'll automatically go to another video. For whatever freaking reason, the next video that came up was people in a park. and I'm like, I can barely hear Tom and Carly talking, but I can hear them. And they can't hear me yet because I'm technically disadvantaged when it comes to plugging in this audio equipment. And it's a chore every time. So I'm hearing all this park noise thinking, oh, Tom must be talking outside. Maybe he's at work or something. And, he's taking his lunch break. And, man, I got to hurry up and get this stuff plugged in so we don't run out of time with them. And, I'm hearing all these kids playing, and it's, driving me nuts. And I can barely hear them. Finally, I get my mic working, and the park is still there. And I'm like, I kind of ignore it because I'm thinking, well, he must be outside. I'm not outside. I'm pretty sure Carly's not outside. So
Carly's never outside. Yeah. She doesn't like daylight. I'll burn.
So you can never find her at a park.
It's like the Wicked Witch of the West. I'm melting.
So I'm thinking, well, he must be, so I'll just ignore it. And then they keep talking about it, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. I thought it was you guys. So I start looking around my computer, and I'm like, oh, it's like some YouTube video playing in the background.
It's like that thing on Facebook that I keep seeing that's like your brain's like Windows, where it's got no idea where the music's coming from. That was that. That was
exactly what that is, yeah.
That was exactly that. It was like some sort of creepy horror film where we were just waiting to be murdered.
Yeah. So we had an adventurous first interview. Oh, man. All right, so now that my faults are out of the way.
But on the plus side, Tom was awesome to chat to over the background noise of Jason's park.
Not my park. Again, not my park. There's no kids at my park.
There's no kids.
It'd be very quiet.
Just you on a swing.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. It must have been like New York Central Park or something. It was pretty noisy. So, yes, here we go with our interview with Tom Walker. And that's Satellites from a band called The Point, from a music video directed by our guest today, who studied at Oxford Brookes University and graduated film school in 2016, and whom not only works as a post-production operator at Universal Pictures International, but co-owns a production company, Medusa Video, where they shoot music videos, show reels, and short films. Their latest production is a music video with noir themes, and we'll post links in the description so everyone can check that out along with some other projects they've produced. Without further delay, we would like to welcome Tom Walker to the Speakeasy Noircast. Hey Tom, how's it going?
Hey, yeah, very good. Thank you very much for having me.
You have done quite a bit, it looks like, in the past couple years, from what I can tell. Can you give us a little bit background, like how you got started in doing film? We know you went to film school and you graduated from that, and you've got a production company and you're working for Universal, which is amazing. Give us some background, like where did you start, and how did you gravitate towards a couple of these noir projects that you've done?
Sure. I don't really come from a film background. Like, my parents were never into film or into filmmaking, really. I just grew up in London, went to school as any other sort of teenager would do. But I was always like fascinated by film from sort of an early age. I love like sci-fi, fantasy films. But sort of the idea of becoming a filmmaker was never something that was introduced to me. Even at secondary school, we had no sort of media classes, film classes, or anything. But I just found myself sort of obsessed with watching films, lots of Star Wars, lots of Lord of the Rings, that kind of thing. And it wasn't until I was looking for universities to go through, I was around sort of 16, 17, and my mum knew how much I love watching film, and she just suggested that I look for a film course around the UK, which was never something I thought about. I really loved English and I loved writing, so I wanted to do that, preferably literature. And we were on the way to, I think, Oxford Brookes, looking at the film course, and looking at the English course, sorry, and she suggested we look at the film, and I knew there was a sort of stigma attached to sort of doing film or creative subjects. I was like, oh no, I'll do my English. But she insisted, and we visited the course when we were there, and absolutely fell in love with it. And just before, I'd never had any idea about being a filmmaker or sort of creating something myself. But I looked around this course at Oxford Brookes and absolutely fell in love with the idea of being able to make my own films and sort of learn how to write. And I enrolled in the class in September and in 2013, and from there I just my passion for it grew, and I getting taught the foundations, lighting, camera work, and just from there I started making my own stuff at university. I had a good group of friends that were really interested in the same thing, and we'd start by making really stupid little things, little mockumentaries that cost nothing, and we could just sort of be ourselves and have a laugh. And I started taking it a bit more seriously, and as my skills grew, my interest grew, and I sort of started to realise that with a bit more work and a bit more knowledge, I could do some of the things that I'd see in my head. And I sort of got to the end of university, and I'd made some short films. I'd done quite well in our film festival towards the end of university. I won best editing, best music. It was something that I was sort of head over heels in love with, and from there I've just kept trying to write and direct my own things. Most of my stuff has been sort of no budget, one location, just working on my writing and making engaging films. But that's kind of where I am at now. And I've had a look at, I found lots of sort of competitions on the internet and through film festivals, and used those to sort of inspire me to make my own film projects. And recently I found making music videos a really good way of sort of honing my craft, and that's the kind of direction I've started going in at the moment. I found it just sort of a bit easier at the moment. While I don't have the budget and the crew to make big sort of epic short films or feature films, music videos have been a really good way of sort of honing my craft. So at the moment that's what I'm focusing on as a sort of goal of making more short films and better short films. But that's just sort of a very brief overview of how I got to this point. And I was lucky enough to get a job at Universal as a technical film editor. I was always really interested in film editing, and at Universal we provide technical support for Los Angeles. We're all international based, so every country outside of America, we sort of provide post-production support for anything coming out of LA and going to the international territories. So I'm sort of doing that full time, and that pays the bills. And on the side, I'm making music videos for local artists, short films when I can, and just writing as much as I can, really. Living in South London. So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment.
Nice, man. So, wow. And that all happened very quickly, right? Because from what I can tell, you graduated in 2016. And then, I mean, to move on and work for Universal is a big deal, and that's not that's a fairly prestigious job. It's a very protected job, correct? I mean, a lot of material from that company goes. I mean, you see a lot of stuff that the general public can't see yet. Yeah,
exactly. And I'm in a very privileged position, a position like I never thought I'd be in. But I did a lot of groundwork at the sort of smaller production companies around London, which gave me really good experience to kind of land my job at Universal. But yeah, I'm in a very privileged position, and it's an awesome company to work for. And I'm very lucky.
God, I couldn't keep it to myself. I would have to tell somebody. Just I couldn't. I'd probably last a day. I'd probably be on my lunch going, Jason, you'll never guess what I've seen. Here's a picture of it.
I've got to train myself. I've had to train myself over the last few months just to sort of like stay quiet. Yeah. It's good fun, sort of like being the person that knows the secrets that other people don't. So you gotta train yourself to keep it under wraps.
Absolutely, and you wouldn't last long if you didn't, because that stuff is very coveted, and that stuff gets out there, or people leak movies, or information, things like that. It's just you won't last long.
That'd be the story of me. That would, honest to God.
It would be Carly who?
No podcast. You got to be very careful, but yeah, I'm extremely lucky to be working here, and it's great company to work for.
So you have done quite a lot of different things. You've got some comedy, you've got some noir, you've got some horror. Is there anything in particular you gravitate to more than the other, or do you have a favorite genre? Are there things that you're looking forward to in your career in the future to do that you haven't done yet?
Well, yeah, I mean, the genre that I definitely gravitate towards is noir. Like, I'm not just saying that because I'm on your podcast, but it's by far my favorite genre to write and to direct. I find sort of like crime and thrill. I love watching all genres. So I love comedies, I love fantasies, I love noir. But to actually write and to make, I love sort of crime noirs. It's just something about the satisfaction of writing a good crime, a good puzzle, and when you're watching it, figuring out a good crime or a puzzle, or getting told a satisfying payoff. I think there's nothing more satisfying when watching a film is to get that payoff that you get from a crime film. So that is probably my favorite thing to write and direct at the moment. I aesthetically, I'm really drawn to the kind of black and white, high contrast shadows of a noir. I think it's a really good film tool to kind of get all your information across. And yeah, I'm just, when I try and sit down and write a comedy, I end up writing a noir film. If I sit down and try and write a fantasy film, I end up writing a noir film. And I kind of take that as a sign as, I should be writing sort of crime noir films. So yeah, that's what I'm sort of currently drawn to, or have been since film school, really. How did
your Film Riot video come? That's how I found you, through a Facebook group. You'd posted Victim as one of the projects that you worked on. How did that come about?
So I don't know if you guys are familiar with the YouTube channel Film Riot.
Yeah, I know of them. I don't really follow them, but I definitely know of them.
Okay, yeah, they're a really cool sort of YouTube channel that posts weekly videos for indie filmmakers or amateur filmmakers, giving them advice on. They might do sort of like lighting setups or all sort of low budget stuff. And they ran a competition with a composer website called Filmstro. That you sort of got access to, and you can. They have a lot of sort of tracks that you can manipulate yourself to kind of fit your film. And they launched a competition a couple of years ago to make a 1 minute film, 1 minute short film. And I I'm really into making films, so that really appealed to me. And my first thought was, I can make a really cool noir film with that. So yeah, I entered their 1 minute film competition, and I came up with the idea of Victim. I had the location in the film it's all in one flat, and that was my friend's flat. He was away for the holiday, and he gave me access to his flat, and we completely moved everything out, put in one table, and shone a light through the window, and I think it made this really cool, sort of aesthetically pleasing looking noir film.
Yeah, it looks really good. I really liked it.
Yeah, I was very I think it was sort of a bit of skill and a bit of luck that we were able to sort of achieve. I had these really amazing sort of blinds on the windows, and every time I go around, I always look at them and think like, the way the light comes through is really like, it sort of casts these really amazing shadows. So when I got this idea for Victim, I was like, right, I'm going to do it in Jake's flat because of the incredible blinds and the incredible sort of contrast we can get with the lighting, and I think that paid off really well.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the look of it is spot on for for a noir film. It looks beautiful. It looks like you guys took quite a bit of time to do that.
Yeah.
That's nice.
It was one of those nice things where we had one. It was sort of all lit by one light, and we just sort of took an hour or so setting the lighting. But once we got that set, we could sort of focus on the rest of the film, which was quite nice.
Brilliant. And you also have delivery, which I liked quite a bit.
I said that. I like that.
Did you
like the voiceover?
I did. I liked the entire project. I thought it was really well done. It was very, very old school noir, femme fatale, everything, like the brilliant ending.
So a bit of background with that. That was my first year at university, and I had no idea how to make a film. Had no idea how to light a film, how to shoot a film, but I had this really cool idea in my head, which was delivery. And very naively, I just grabbed a bunch of mates and a camera from our film department. We were in Oxford at the time. We just found a really sort of nice old alleyway that we could pass as 1930s, and set up camera and shot this for 2 nights with drunk students walking through the set. And
guerrilla style.
Honestly, not really knowing like what we were doing. It was very naive, because now I'd be all like, where are the permits coming from, whatever. But yeah, we just grabbed a camera and we set up shop and shot this for 2 nights. And weirdly, we a couple of years later, they filmed The Mummy, the Tom Cruise film, and they used that same alleyway in the film. And I remember watching it thinking, that's really familiar. And it kicked in. It was like, wow, we just sort of like invaded and walked through our camera. Yeah. Maybe they scouted it from our film.
I'm wondering what the connection there is, because that's a Universal movie.
Well, yeah. Let's not think too much into that.
But he said, guys, give me a job. I know where you can film.
Yeah. Well, exactly. There we go. Yeah, the leverage. And it was just really surreal watching it and thinking like, wow, there's a Hollywood production there now where we just sort of rocked up with our camera. But I learned so much on that film. Which is probably my biggest advice for filmmakers is we were very naive and we didn't know what to do, but we just grabbed the camera and we went and did it, which was it was really good fun. And I was saying maybe one day when I'm rich and famous, I'll go back and take the script and sort of refilm it and give it a nice gloss to it. But yeah, I'm very proud of how it turned out, and I learned so much on that film.
I think that's a fantastic idea to go back and potentially reshoot it.
I think the knowledge I know.
Yeah, I think it's great as it is. Honestly, it was super cool to watch. I really dug it. I thought it was good.
Thank you.
Yeah, congrats for. I mean, that was like one of your first films. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Probably my second short film I made. Yeah.
Amazing. Great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, the writing is there. That's probably what really makes it is the writing is there.
Oh, cheers. Yeah. That's nice to hear. Thank you.
So we're gonna do this thing where I want you to give us what your favorite classic noir film is, and tell us why.
My favorite classic noir film. Oh, is it? What sort of period are we talking?
Well, anything classic. No neo noirs, basically. Anything from like the late 30s up through the the end of the noir period of like what was it 59, something like that.
Yeah. Oh, let me have a good thing. I really did the Maltese Falcon at university. I thought that was a brilliant film. Double Indemnity, I think was probably one of my favorites. Yeah, let's go Double Indemnity.
All right. Well, what was it that? I mean, that's a classic everybody pretty much loves.
Yeah.
Was it one of the early ones that you saw first, or did that come later? How did you come across Double Indemnity?
So I mean, I was first drawn to Neo Noir films, so I watched loads of those. But when I was in university, we had a Film Noir module, and they took us right back to the classics, which is something that I've never really sort of sought out myself at the time. It's sort of 2014, 15. We watched Double Indemnity, and the thing that took me was it was the first time I sort of realised how good the story was compared to sort of a lot of films these days. So
Nice.
They obviously didn't have the resources back then, or the money, or the equipment to make these big budget special effects. They really had to rely on the stories. And I'd say, so it's just come to me, the Third Man as well, how sort of thought out and precise the characters are, and how clear their motivations are, and they're not relying on big special effects and big visuals to tell a really engaging and interesting story. And I think that's sort of why I'm drawn to those kind of films. The Third Man, which was I was blown away by it when I first watched it. I thought it was so entertaining. You get the stigma of old films, and people think, black and white film from the 30s, like, it's going to be dull, but they had to write really engaging stories for people to go and watch them. And they're probably the two films that have stuck with me the most since doing that module.
Excellent. And so sorry, go ahead, Carly.
I was just saying what a nice choice this was. I'm actually liking Tom for replacing you.
All right.
I'm not here to take anyone's job.
That's why I'm being quiet. My mind's plotting. I'm thinking, he's in the UK. Don't have to Skype issues.
She's irritated because I said at one point I didn't like Bogey, so she's
yeah. Oh
upset.
yeah. Exactly. How can you forgive something like that, Tom?
There's no forgiveness. It's just moving on and forgetting about it.
Yeah.
Like an elephant, love.
You mentioned Neo Noirs. What is your top Neo Noir film?
I think the film that I can never sort of shake out my head is Seven. Obviously David Fincher's Seven, which I've one of my favorite, my top 3 films of all time. I just think it's an incredibly told story, brilliant characters, brilliant acting, pacing. I have to say, but I've got a big soft spot for LA Confidential. Big fan. They're up there. They're sort of my 2 favorites, I think. The ones that I always find myself revisiting. I love Seven. A big David Fincher fan. So
excellent. Maybe we'll have to have you come back on and talk with us when we do a review of Seven. It's gonna happen. It's gotta happen.
Oh man, yeah. I'm all for that.
Cool.
Did you not find it terrifying in that last scene as well, when you realise before he does what's in the box?
Oh man,
it's like a little bit of your soul literally crumbles.
Yeah, brillint. Just incredible filmmaking, I think. Amazingly well written. Just an all-round brilliant film. I think I saw that in university as well, which is when I kind of had my film awakening and sort of got bombarded by all these brilliant films. And that's just always stuck with me, and I always sort of find myself rewatching it every few months or so.
Excellent.
Those and LA Confidential, shout out to that. I remember watching that for the first time, and for the first hour I was really bored by it, and I was like, why is this a classic? This is really dull. And then you get to the third act and you get the incredible payoff, and the characters sort of come through, and I've rewatched that several times since as well.
Damn, a classic. It makes you feel old, because I remember when it came out, I went and saw it at the theater.
Oh, right, fair enough.
I feel damn old.
To me. There's no Double Indemnity.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, it wasn't around then.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. No, both of those are excellent films. We have an episode with LA Confidential coming up pretty soon here as well.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. That's weird. I watched that yesterday.
Yeah.
For the first time, or?
No, again, because I quite
Okay.
like it, but I'm a bit of
Yeah.
a Guy Pearce fan, much to Jason's dismay. So
He's all right, but I mean, Russell Crowe definitely still is at a.
still the show.
Yeah.
we're gonna have a conversation
Okay.
enough about
All
that.
right. All right. Kim
Got a whole
Basinger.
podcast.
But all right, well, great, man. What do you
so
have? I hear some murmurs online about some new project you got coming up.
Yeah.
I believe it's called Man Eater.
Man Eater. So yeah, that was a film actually we shot a few months ago. That was my not one that I directed or wrote, but my sort of co-producer on for Medusa wrote and directed that. That was one of his projects, and yeah, we helped out on that. So that's going to be released actually quite soon. But I've got a sort of noir themed music video that I've shot recently, which is going to be coming out in the next month or so, for a really, really cool musician called Jake Tanner that I met, who's actually he's Italian, but he sings American blues music. So we shot in a cemetery in London, sort of really noir lighting. It's quite sort of atmospheric, and yeah, that's coming out soon.
All right, well, send us over some links, and we'll make sure that
Definitely.
we get that out to people. Look forward to watching them because your music videos are great as well.
Oh, thank you very much.
So it's not noir related, but I was watching Stakeout.
Yeah.
Like,
What was
wait,
the plot?
Stakeout? Like, is this?
Yeah, it's on Tom's YouTube channel.
Oh, okay. I thought we were talking about like the Emilio Estevez movie. With,
No,
That noir classic.
yeah, that noir classic with Emilio. What was the prop?
The prop.
Yeah, because it won best prop.
Oh yeah, so it was the swear jar. So it had to be a London was it a London souvenir?
See,
And that was that.
I'm not just saying this because you've just said this, but I did think that it was the swear jar, but then I thought, no, is it the steak? Is it like a steak?
Yeah, no,
it's
'cause
the
we
swear
made sure
jar.
we obviously sort of shook it in front of the camera and
Okay, so is this a British term? What's a swear job?
A
Oh, swear jar.
Swear jaw?
Basically, Jason, if we had one, I would be a millionaire. Every time that you break something and swear at it, you'd have to put in like $1.
Oh, a swear jar. Okay, I'm sorry.
He doesn't understand what we're saying, Tom. He just nods and he's like, yeah.
a
okay.
curse jar. Does that?
Yeah, no, swear. No,
Curse jar.
we call it swear jar too. I
Yeah.
don't know. My brain was just like slamming the letters together and trying to
Yeah.
make it a British thing. Like for some reason, I'm like, what
I
is
think
this?
that's how I
British-
got all our words.
Yeah.
Just slam stuff together, and yeah, there you go.
Oh my god! I'm always having to look up words and stuff that Carly's throwing at me, and I'm like, what does that mean?
It's like another language.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Tom, do you say nutbag?
Yeah, when the occasion calls for it, yeah.
Yeah.
Nutbags, like
Good.
crazy person, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
There's
just
a
wanted some
nutbag down the
validation
pub.
there.
Yeah, it's like
What's that nutbag doing? Yeah.
yeah, we don't use it
Yeah.
very often out here, but it would be like nut job or something like that.
You should introduce it.
Yeah.
Nut
I mean, you should
bag.
educate them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would just
educate
stumble on it.
everybody.
Everybody would be like, "What? Are there peanuts around here? What are you talking about?"
Yeah. I'm hungry. Yeah.
And I didn't watch Stakeout, so I'm gonna have to check that out as well.
Oh yeah.
and see what
That
happens.
was one of our 48-hour film projects. That we
Okay, I'm
did.
gonna have to see what the swear jar prop is all about here.
Yeah, you have to see it. And you have to watch They Walk Among Us, which again isn't noir, but I mention it because it's hilarious. I told Tom earlier I spat my coffee out on the floor because I thought it was great.
Oh, that's high praise. Thank you very much.
There's a patch of my carpet that is just praise to you right now.
I did watch the Oxford Brookes University retrospective, which I thought was hilarious, by the way.
Oh god, that was
So
that's
funny.
going back a while. Yeah.
It was so funny though.
Oh, awesome. That's great. Thank you very much.
So yeah, you definitely got some comedy chops there, buddy.
Yeah. Maybe I'll try and sort of put that together in noir and see if I can get a new genre or something.
Yeah, well, we're big fans of The Cheap Detective and Murder by
Yeah.
Death, things like that.
Oh
so
nice. Yeah.
we
Excellent.
wouldn't be against that.
Definitely not.
I'll see what I can do. Yeah.
All right, Tom. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show, man. We really appreciate it.
Oh, I had a great time. Thank you very
All
much.
right, we'll talk to you again.
Cool. Cheers.
Bye. All right, there you have it. That was our interview with Tom Walker. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and please check out his work. We'll post some links in the episode description, and he's a pretty talented filmmaker, and I particularly loved his short film that he did for
shoot, what was it called?
48-hour film.
Yeah, it was a 40. Yeah, but it was for. Didn't he have it? He has it on film, whatever it is. Those guys, those funny guys that do the film thing. Anyway, it'll be
Funny or Die.
No, not Funny or Die. No.
I'm just saying things. So.
Yeah, it's in the interview. Anyway, there'll be a link. You guys will see it. We hope you guys enjoyed it, and please check out Night Editor if you get a chance. It's a pretty solid film. Oh, and next week, I guess we will we'll announce it because we've had a listener send us a message, and they want us to check out a film called Point Blank. Now, right off the bat, this is a 1967 film, so we know it's outside of the classic noir time period. So this might be a Neo Noir. I've never seen it myself, so I'll have to, I'm excited to kind of delve in and see what it is. But he also suggests, what did he suggest, Carly, that we do about defining noir?
Yeah, kind of like dissecting Neo Noir and what constitutes a Neo Noir and kind of where the cutoff is. Okay,
cool. Yeah, that'll be a good thing to discuss. So I'm excited to see this film and see what that's all about. And I would assume it's going to be a Neo Noir. And yeah, I think that'll be a fun diversion there. So there you have it, guys. This was episode 16, Night Editor, an interview with Tom Walker. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and until next time.
Bye-bye.
He's looking at you, kid.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Speakeasy Noircast. Make sure to visit our website, resurrectionfilms.net, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or any of your favorite podcast apps, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes, or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. If you like the show, you might want to check out our book, The Dark Side of Acting Up, available now on Amazon, or you can check out one of our films available on Amazon Prime.